Too Smart for Strangers is terrifying for all of the wrong reasons. This is a 40-minute Winnie the Pooh based safety video aimed at children to tell them what to do if they encounter a stranger and if a stranger approaches them. Pretty standard thing. We've all seen these when we've been at school. They're there to improve safety. And I will say that actually the messages that are delivered are pretty solid. I think the messages given to children make a lot of sense. They're very clear. I think they're easy to understand. There are live action sequences with real children kind of playing out these scenarios. And I was particularly impressed that they also included what to do if there's a stranger at your door. If you're home alone and a stranger comes to your door. I thought that was pretty good. I don't recall ever having seen that in a stranger danger video before. I may have done, no recollection of it. The other good thing about this, and maybe the only other good thing about this, is the song Too Smart for Strangers, which Pooh Bear sings at certain points, and it's actually really addictive, and it will get stuck in your head. And obviously, if the message in this video, through the power of song, gets stuck in your head, that's going to have a positive impact. So actually, with what it's trying to achieve, I think it's done well. Where it lets itself down tremendously are the visuals and the voices. Now, the voice acting is fine. You know, the characters' emotions come across well. But these are not the voices of Winnie the Pooh and Piglet and Roo. I mean, Roo, the costume for Roo is horrifically bad. Really awful. Now, obviously, I will say that these characters are instantly recognisably Winnie the Pooh from Winnie the Pooh. And it's very, very scary. In fact, that's what made me watch this. I wouldn't normally watch a stranger danger video made in the 80s aimed at children. It's not what I'm here for. But I saw this when I was on Letterboxd looking for 80s family films that I hadn't seen, and I saw the poster with this creepy-looking Pooh Bear costume and a really terrifying-looking Piglet. And obviously I had to check what it was all about. And visually it's just a nightmare. And it's not even like, oh, well, it was the 80s, so, things were different, things weren't as high-tech. Yeah, obviously, of course, that's true. But it's so bad that I don't know why they ever made the decision to do this in the first place. If you look at the 70s animated film Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, it's a lot less scary. The animation style there is very nice and gentle, and the characters are friendly. Here, the characters kind of look like the strangers you need to avoid. The voices are also really bad. As I said, the voice acting is fine, but in terms of mimicking the characters' accents, the characters' voices, they've clearly tried. And with Winnie the Pooh, it's not so bad. And Tigger, actually, I thought Tigger was pretty decent, but Piglet is awful. The actual voice of Piglet doesn't sound like Piglet. If you closed your eyes and I said, "Who is this?" you would never in a million years say it's a character from Winnie the Pooh. And the other thing is the accents. I'm like, well, obviously Winnie the Pooh is a British thing, and I'm trying to hear him in my head and work out what his accent is, but actually with this, I think the accent is kind of half English, half American, and that's kind of what I get from Winnie the Pooh, actually. But there are times when it becomes really American, such as when they say "mom," and it just sounds really bad coming out of Winnie the Pooh's mouth. So it's kind of clunky, but obviously to the young American audience watching this, that wouldn't be an issue. But I just think they're really butchering the things that make Winnie the Pooh quite beautiful. And Roo, the costume for Roo, is the worst thing I have ever seen. I genuinely looked at it and thought, who is this? What is this? That's not a Winnie the Pooh character. And then Tigger called him Roo. And I laughed because I would have cried at how terrifying it was. It's just, the visuals are really bad. So obviously the main focus is that it gets the message across and it does it effectively. And yes, I think it does. 40 minutes is a bit long. I think they could have condensed it down to 20 minutes, maybe cut out some of the scenes with Owl, although I was also kind of impressed that Owl was in it, because he's often one of the more neglected Winnie the Pooh characters. But I think they could have cut it down a bit to make it a little bit more engaging for children, because 40 minutes is quite a long time for the target audience to be sitting still and kind of retaining all of the information they're being given. I think 20 minutes would have been better. But, you know, it's pretty effective, I think. Obviously, I can't put that into practice because I already am very well aware of staying away from strangers. I stay away from most human beings, full stop. So for me, I thought it was a pretty good message. Don't approach anybody ever. But in terms of the visuals and the voices, it's not good. It's terrifying. It's actually scary. I mean, check it out if you're a fan of Winnie the Pooh, just to see what it's like and to see where I'm coming from. But I think, you know, most safety videos stand up against time and work for a very long time. I think this one has had its day. I think this became impossible to watch very quickly after it was released in 1985. Show this to a child today and they will be scarred for life. It's had its time, it's had its moment. It's now a piece of history. We can move on from this. But also, I don't think I will ever be able to move on from it.